Hello mga math aaral! Welcome to my Taglish step-by-step math video tutorials. In this video, I am going to discuss systems of linear equations. These are system of consistent and dependent equations, system of consistent and independent equations, and system of inconsistent equations. Kung hindi ka pa nakapag-subscribe sa channel na to, just click the subscribe button for more Grade 8 Mathematics video tutorials. There are three kinds of system of linear equations in two variables according to the number of solutions. And these are, number 1, system of consistent and dependent equations. Number 2, system of consistent and independent equations. And for number 3, we have system of inconsistent equations. For system of consistent and dependent equations, the system has a single unique solution, meaning to say it has only one solution. For system of consistent and independent equations, the system has no solution. And for system of inconsistent equations, the system has infinitely many solutions. Let us look on the graph of system of linear equations in two variables. These are the graph of system of linear equations in two variables. The first illustration is the graph for consistent and independent. As you can see, the two graphs or two lines intersect with each other. And this is the intersection point. As you can see, there's only one intersection point. That is why consistent and independent equations has only one unique solution. And the graph is intersecting. Next illustration is the graph of inconsistent equations. As you can see, the two lines or two graphs are parallel with each other. Since there's no intersection point, inconsistent has no solution, and the graphs are parallel. And the last illustration is for consistent and dependent equations. As you can see, the two line or two graphs overlap with each other. They coincide, meaning to say, all points of the first graph or first line intersect with the second line. That is why consistent and dependent equations has many solutions, and the graph are coinciding. They coincide or they overlap. Let's have more discussions on system of linear equations. So the first system is system of consistent and dependent equations. It is a system of linear equations having infinitely many solutions. The slopes of their lines are equal. Their y-intercepts are also equal. And their graphs are coinciding. So let's have example. The system of equations x minus y equals 4 and 2x minus 2y equals 8. For us to identify the slopes and y-intercepts, first, we need to write the equations into slope-intercept form. Y equals mx plus b, and then after which, identify and compare their slopes and y-intercepts. So they're writing now x minus y into slope-intercept form. We need to transpose positive x to the other side of the equation. So transposing now positive x, it will become negative x. And then just copy positive 4. So we have now negative y equals negative x plus 4. Y must be always positive. So we need to multiply both sides of the equation by negative 1 to make y positive. So negative 1 times negative y is equal to positive y. Negative x times negative 1 is equal to positive x. Positive 4 times negative 1 is equal to negative 4. So we have now y equals x minus 4. It is already written into y equals mx plus b. Our m now is the slope, which is positive 1. And our y-intercept or b is negative 4. And for the second equation, we have 2x minus 2y equals 8. Again, we need to transpose positive 2x to the other side of the equation. So it becomes negative 2x. And then just copy positive 8. So we have now negative 2y equals negative 2x plus 8. To get rid of negative 2, we divide both sides by negative 2. So negative 2y divided by negative 2 is equal to positive y. Negative 2x divided by negative 2 is equal to x. Then, positive 8 divided by negative 2 is equal to negative 4. Let's identify the slope and y-intercept. We have now our slope is positive 1. And the y-intercept is negative 4. Now, let us compare the slopes and y-intercept. As you can see, their slopes are equal. And their y-intercepts are also equal. Thus, this system of equations is consistent and dependent. Why? Because the slopes of their lines are equal, their y-intercept are also equal. Thus, the graph of this system of equations are coinciding. System of consistent and independent equations is a system of linear equations having exactly one solution. The slopes of their lines are not equal. Their y-intercepts could be equal or unequal, and their graphs are intersecting. So let's have example. The system of equations y equals 2x minus 4 and y equals negative 2x plus 1. As you can see, the equations is already written in the form y equals mx plus b. So we can now easily determine or identify the slope and y-intercept. So for the first equation, our slope is positive 2. Our y-intercept is negative 4. And for the second equation, we have the slope is negative 2. and the y-intercept is positive 1. So let's compare the slope and y-intercept. So we have here positive 2 and negative 2. They are not equal. The slopes are not equal. And the y-intercepts are unequal. Thus, the system of equations is consistent and independent. Why? Because the slopes of their lines are not equal. Their y-intercepts are unequal. And their graphs are intersecting. Let's have another example. The system of equations y equals 2x plus 1 and y equals negative 2x plus 1. Since the equations is already written into y equals mx plus b, we can now easily determine or identify their slopes and y-intercepts. So in the first equation, our slope or m is positive 2. And the y-intercept is positive 1. And for the second equation, we have our slope is negative 2. And our y-intercept is positive 1. So let's compare the slopes and the y-intercepts. So as you can see, the slopes are not equal, but the y-intercepts are equal. Thus, it is consistent and independent. Why? Because their slopes are not equal and the y-intercepts are equal. And the graph of these systems of equations are intersecting. And for system of inconsistent equations, it is a system of linear equations having no solution. The slopes of their lines are equal. Their y-intercepts are not equal. And their graphs are parallel. So let's have example. The system of equations y equals x minus 4 and y equals x plus 2. As you can see, the equations is already written in the form y equals mx plus b. So we can now easily identify or determine their slopes and y-intercepts. So for the first equation, our slope is positive 1. And the y-intercept is negative 4. And for the second equation, we have the slope is also positive 1. But the y-intercept is positive 2. Let's compare the slope and the y-intercepts. So the slopes are equal, but the y-intercepts are not equal. Thus, the system of equations is inconsistent. Why? Because the slopes of their lines are equal, but their y-intercepts are not equal. And the graph of this system is parallel. Let's solve activity. Categorize me. Identify the kinds of system of linear equations and determine the number of solutions. Categorize the graphs that are parallel, intersecting, and coinciding. So let's have the first system of linear equations. We have 6x minus 3y equals 6 and 2x minus y equals 2. As you can see, it is not yet written in the form y equals mx plus b. So we need to rewrite this first into y equals mx plus b. So rewriting this, the first equation, 6x minus 3y equals 6, we have now transpose positive 6 to the other side of the equation. So ilagay natin siya sa right side of the equation. So it becomes negative 6x. And then just copy positive 6. So we have now negative 3y equals negative 6 plus 6. To get rid of negative 3, kailangan matanggal yung negative 3, we divide both sides by negative 3. So, i-divide natin yung negative 3 on both sides of the equation. So, negative 3y divided by 3 divided by negative 3 is equal to positive y. Negative 6x divided by negative 3, it is equal to positive 2x. And positive 6 divided by negative 3, it is equal to negative 2. So we have now y equals 2x minus 2. It is already written in y equals mx plus b. So our m now is positive 2. And our b or y-intercept is negative 2. And for this equation, 2x minus y equals 2, we transpose positive 2x to the other side of the equation. So it will become negative y equals negative 2x plus 2. Since y is negative, we can make this positive by multiplying negative 1 to both sides of the equation. So, multiplying now negative 1 to negative y, it will become positive y. Negative 2x times negative 1 is positive 2x. And positive 2 times negative 1 is negative 2. So, let's find the slope or determine the slope and y-intercept. So our slope here is positive 2 and our y-intercept is negative 2. So let's compare their slopes and y-intercepts. So as you can see, their slope is both positive 2. They are equal. And so with their y-intercepts, they are both negative 2. They are also equal. Thus, the system of linear equation is consistent and dependent. And the number of solution is infinitely many solution. And their graph are coinciding. Let's have number 2. X minus y equals 1 and x plus 2y equals 3. Again, it is not yet written in the form y equals mx plus b. So let's write first in the form y equals mx plus b. So we have now negative y equals negative x plus 1. We transpose positive x to the right side of the equation. So since our y is negative, we can make this positive by multiplying negative 1 to both sides. So multiplying now negative 1 to negative y, it is now positive y. Negative x times negative 1, it is positive x. And positive 1 times negative 1 is negative 1. Thus, the slope is positive 1 and the y-intercept is negative 1. For x plus 2y equals 3, again, let's transpose positive x to the right side of the equation. So, it becomes 2y equals negative x plus 3. To get rid of 2, let's divide both sides by positive 2. So, 2y divided by 2 is equal to y. Negative x divided by 2 is negative 1/2 x. Positive 3 divided by 2 is 3/2. Identifying now the slope and y-intercept, our slope now is negative 1/2. Our y-intercept is 3/2. So let's compare their slopes and y-intercepts. The slopes now are not equal. And so with their y-intercept, they are also not equal. Thus, the kind of system of linear equation is consistent and independent. And the number of solutions is exactly one solution. And the graphs are intersecting. So let's have the last. X plus 3y equals 1 and 3x plus 9y equals 6. Again, we need to write this first into slope-intercept form. Y equals mx plus b. So we're writing now transpose positive x to the right side of the equation. So it becomes negative x. So we have now 3y equals negative x plus 1. To get rid of 3, we divide both sides by 3. So 3y divided by 3 is equal to y. Negative x divided by 3 is negative 1/3 x. Positive 1 divided by 3 is 1/3. Identifying the slope and y-intercept, we have now the slope is negative 1/3. And the y-intercept is positive 1/3. For the second equation, we have to transpose 3x to the other side of the equation. So it becomes negative 3x. So to get rid of 9, let's divide both sides by 9. So 9y divided by 9 is equal to y. Negative 3x divided by 9 is equal to negative 3/9x. Positive 6 divided by 9 is equal to 6/9. Or simplifying 3/9, it is now equal to negative 1/3. And 6/9 is 2/3. So comparing now the slopes and y-intercepts, we have now the slopes are equal, but the y-intercepts are not equal. Thus, the kind of system of linear equation is inconsistent. And the number of solutions, no solution. And the graphs are parallel. Thank you for watching Math Aaral. Please don't forget to subscribe, like, and share the YouTube channel. Thank you. Until next time, God bless.